Hello and welcome to the second episode of The Final Whistle. This week I'm going to be talking Sam Allardyce's very first England squad. Jack Wilshere and Ross Barkley, should they have been left out? I'm also going to be looking at the Champions League draw, which was very exciting. Are Arsenal going to do well? Are they going to get past round 16? Are Leicester even going to get out of the groups? Who's going to do the best? Who's going to do the worst? Who's got the best group? Who's got the worst group? All that sort of stuff. I'm also going to be doing the referee review, the same as last week, the team of the week again, and I'm going to look at some of the better Premier League matches this week. That was quite good. Okay, so we're going to kick it off with Man City's impressive 3-1 win over West Ham. I just can't see Man City not winning the league this year. Pep Guardiola has the effect on players to make them perform better. Just look at Sterling, for example. His first 3 games compared to last season have been incredible. They've got amazing squad depth and amazing ability in their squad. Aguero, who's one of the best strikers in the world, if not the best. Silva and De Bruyne, who are arguably 2 of the best playmakers in the Premier League. They've got Company, who's arguably the best defender. Stones, who's a great upcoming talent. He could easily be the best defender in a couple of years. Good wing backs, 2 good keepers. Torre, Fernandinho, Fernando in central midfield. Navas, who's okay, I guess, and Nolito, who's been an incredible addition. He's been really, really good. So I just can't see them being pipped for the title. They've been dominant against West Ham and haven't really come up against a good opposition yet. But September the 10th, they face United, who have been on a really good run of form recently. So that'll be their biggest test yet, and if they can win that and show their dominance, there's no stopping them. The only problem they may have is Aguero may be out of the game, either with an injury, that's why he's out of the Argentinian squad, I believe, and he'll surely get a 3-match ban from the FA, so he's likely to miss it anyway. West Ham are really unlucky with injuries, to be fair. They're missing Carroll, Feghouli, Ayew, Cresswell. There's a long list of players they're missing, and I didn't expect them to get a win or a result against City, and it just shows how unlucky they've been with their injuries this season. I didn't expect them to get a result against City on the weekend, but I do expect them to return to form they had last season, possibly even push in for a European spot if they can sort out 1 or 2 transfers for their injured players. Next up was another 3-1 result, this time for Arsenal against Watford. Arsenal were incredible. They were really, really impressive this weekend. You had Ozil, Cazorla back in the lineup, and they just looked so much more creative. Sanchez had a good game, Walcott had a good game. Like I said last week in the first episode on the Final Whistle, I think Xhaka and Cazorla as 2 midfielders are key for Arsenal. They've got creativity, steel, defensive. They can both pick a pass. Xhaka, who is quite a lot more defensive than Cazorla, also has a very good passing technique and passing range. He can pick someone out from a long way away. They've recently just signed Perez, who literally has been announced about an hour ago from filming this. So that'll be interesting whether they choose to stick with Sanchez, go with Giroud, or stick Perez up top. Watford have had a really tough run of games recently. They had Arsenal this weekend. They had Chelsea the weekend before. So they have been unlucky. They're currently in the relegation zone, but I think they'll definitely be alright. They'll end up mid-table, maybe. They've had decent signing of Pereira from Juventus. Capoue is playing well. Igalo and Troy Deeney just need to start scoring some goals, and then they'll be completely fine. Finally, from the weekend's impressive results is Chelsea 3, Burnley 0. Chelsea completely dominated this game from start to finish. Sean Dyche even said in his post-match interview they were better in all areas. A completely different level of club to Burnley and Chelsea, which is true, and they definitely showed that. Hazard, Kante and Willian were absolutely different level compared to the Burnley players or any players on their team. Hazard looked like one of the best players in the league again, running at people, taking them one way, going inside, getting a shot away. That's how the first goal was scored. Willian again showed his quality, one-on-one with the Burnley defender. There's no way that when Willian got on his right foot that he wasn't going to shoot and it wasn't going to go on target. And thankfully for him it went in the goal. Third goal came from a counter-attack where Batshuayi, who's been absolutely incredible for Chelsea in the short counters that he's made, will definitely be starting to, I think. Powerful, fast, good passing, good shooting. He's scored a couple goals already, so I think he'll be in the starting lineup soon. Possibly over Costa, who hasn't been the best recently. But yeah, he had the ball, held it up, played it out wide to Pedro. Pedro's whipped it in, back post, and Victor Moses, of all people, who I don't know how long it's been since he played for Chelsea or scored for Chelsea, gone out of the back stick and scored the 3rd goal in the 89th minute. Under Conte, they do look a really good side. They're working harder, they're pressing, playing defensively a lot better, and with Hazard in form, Willian, Costa if he can get in form, even Batshuayi, then they'll definitely be a real threat this season. Okay, so let's talk the Champions League. Arsenal in Group A, they have PSG, Basel and Ludogorets. I fully expect Arsenal to win this group. PSG are a good side, but they're not as threatening without Zlatan Ibrahimovic up front now. And Arsenal play some really good football, and with possible signings of Mustafi and Perez, They have a lot of squad depth and they'll be able to cope with Champions League. Next up in Group C is Man City, who definitely got the hardest group. Spanish champions Barcelona, Borussia Mönchengladbach and Celtic. Okay, Mönchengladbach and Celtic aren't all that, but Barcelona are, and that could easily be 2 losses for City. I expect Barcelona to just be better, more experienced, better talent, so I think Man City are going to finish second in that group. Tottenham next in Group E, they've got Monaco, Bayern Leverkusen and CSK Moscow. In my opinion, they've got the easiest group of the 4. To me, it just looks a bit like a Europa League draw. You've got Monaco, Leverkusen, CSK Moscow, no big names there, no Madrids, no Munichs, no Juventus even, no Barças, and they've had an easy ride there. They're no novices when it comes to European football, but Champions League is a complete step up from Europa League football. They may struggle at first, but I would expect them to win this group because they've got a lot better talent than Monaco, Leverkusen and CSK Moscow. Finally, in Group G, we have Leicester. Finally, we have Leicester in Group G. Up alongside Copenhagen, not sure you say the name, Porto and Club Brugge. Really not a bad draw for Leicester. They were seeded first, so you wasn't expecting too bad of a draw. Porto's going to be tricky, but Club Brugge and Copenhagen, they should be winnable, and I would expect them maybe to get third and possibly even to get out of the group. If they can play the counter-attacking style of football that they love and they know, they can do really well against some of these European sides. Man City or Arsenal are definitely going to get the furthest out of the 4 clubs. Tottenham may be a surprise contender, but I expect Leicester to go out possibly at round 16 of the quarterfinals. But if Arsenal and City can actually win their groups and get good draws, they could even get onto the semi-finals. Okay, so first up, Big Sam's in the squad. I'm going to chuck it here for you to have a look at. There's no real surprising inclusions really. Drinkwater and Antonio, probably the biggest surprise inclusions. Antonio, again, I think he merits a selection. He's played extremely well. England really don't have that many good wingers. Townsend's probably another option. We need wingers. It will suit Sam Allardyce's style. He works hard. He's got good technique, and he probably could succeed with England. I don't think he's going to get too many minutes, but he'll do the job if he comes on. In my opinion, Allardyce went wrong with picking Drinkwater. He's not got the technical ability that Jack Wilshere or Ross Barkley has. He can't take players on like they can. He can't bring the ball forward. That's the same saying with, I guess, with Dyer, Henderson. Ali's probably the only one in there, or Lallana, that can do that. They're different. They play further forward to Wilshere. Wilshere especially, he can play deep, he can play well, he can play passes out. Barkley is similar to Ali and Lallana. That's probably why he wasn't picked. That's a controversial decision, I guess, because a lot of people think or thought he was the future of England. He does have a lot of talent, but he just hasn't shown it. But hopefully he can show it under Ronald Koeman, and Allardyce will pick him for the World Cup. Other than that, I don't really disagree with the squad. I think taking 3 strikers was a really good thing. He hasn't done what Hodgson did and take 5 strikers, even though you're not going to play maybe 3 of them. Defoe was unlucky not to get in. Rashford, again, unlucky. Under 21 football, though, will do him good. There's no point Allardyce taking him if he's not going to play him. He probably does need regular football at Man United. But I do think he's going to get more football, and I think Allardyce will definitely take him to Russia 2018. And last night it was confirmed that Wayne Rooney will stay as captain. A good decision in my opinion. If it wasn't going to be him, I probably would have chosen Joe Hart. He's a leader. But there's no point changing now. I think he will start Rooney. I think he's going to play him as Mourinho does in a number 10 position. I expect Kane to play in front of him. He's going to have wingers. Probably Sterling. Maybe even Antonio or Lallana. He'll probably start with Dyer, definitely as one of the 2 midfielders. And probably Jordan Henderson. I think he's a big fan of his. The defence, I reckon he'll go Walker or Klein right back. Shaw's the first pick left back for me, in my opinion. And his defenders most likely will be Smalling and, not Jagielka, but Cahill. So it's not really a bad first squad. It's pretty predictable. It's going to be good to see what he tries and does with the England squad. How he's going to put his own spin on it. How he's going to attack these games. Is he going to be defensive? Is he going to go all out? Is he going to collapse under pressure of fans and media? Probably not Big Sam. So it is going to be very interesting to see how he handles this. Okay, so next up is a referee review. We're going to have 4 games. We're going to have the Leicester-Swansea game, Liverpool-Tottenham game, Manchester United-Hull game, and the Man City-West Ham game. First up is the Leicester game where they won 2-1. Roger Rees was the referee, and he had a decision to make whether to give a penalty or not on Robert Hoof. I don't know what's going on in his head here. He's looking directly at the incident. Hoof's in the box trying to win a header, and 2 Swansea City defenders have just come up, manhandled him. It literally could have been classed as assault. They've thrown him to the floor, and Roger East has just gone, no, not giving that. Okay, so Roger East got 1 out of 1 crucial decisions wrong in that match. Is why I'm going to give him an E for his performance. Not quite an F because there was only 1 decision. If there was 2 and he got 2 wrong, then it'd be straight out F for him. Next up is Robert Madley in the Liverpool-Tottenham game. The first decision he had to make is whether to give a penalty on Jan Vertonghen for foul and Joel Matip, and it was a very, very clear decision. Compared to last week when Mike Dean gave 2 penalties in the Stoke Man City game, 1 against Shawcross and 1 for Shawcross, they were both quite harsh and they were strict, they were with the rules, they were penalties, but they were quite harsh, and this one was a clear rugby tackle. It was pretty much assault again. He's pulled him straight to the ground. There's no question that was definitely a foul, but he's completely ignored that. So for his first decision, he's got that completely wrong. The second decision he had to make was whether to give Liverpool a penalty. Firmino's beat Eric Lamela with a nice touch, a bit of pace down the left-hand side. He's got past him into the box. Lamela's tried to track back. As he's running back, both of their feet have touched, literally their toes have clipped. And because of that, Firmino's right foot has come back and hit the back of his left foot, and that's why he's gone over. He's gone over not because of the contact that came off Lamela's foot, he's gone over because his foot has gone onto the back of his foot, and Robert Madley gave a penalty for that, and I don't think it was a penalty. I think that's extremely harsh from Madley there. I would have given him a penalty, so I'm going to say he's got that decision completely wrong as well. There was a third controversial decision as well. Sadio Mane got the ball whipped into him, he's put the ball in the back of the net, but the linesman's given offside. Although it's not Robert Madley, it's the linesman, it's all part of the refereeing team, he's got that completely wrong. He's in line with the defender. The only bit that would be offside is his toe. And in today's game, that is so harsh not to give a goal for that. Literally, because his big toe is hanging over the line, and the referee said no, that's offside. If I was Klopp there, I would be completely infuriated with the referees during that match. They've definitely cost Liverpool the 3 points there. First for not giving a penalty on Joel Matip, and second for disallowing Sadio Mane's goal. So for the overall refereeing performance from Robert Madley and his team, I'm going to give them an F. Because they had 3 decisions and they got them all wrong. Next up is John Moss in the Manchester United Hull game. He had a stinker last week and he didn't get much better this week as well. The only decision he had to make was a ball was whipped in from Valencia. David Miller's in the box. He stuck his arm out. I think the ball's hit him about here. He stuck his arm out. You can see he's trying to block the ball. It's hit him right on the arm. John Moss is looking straight at it, but he's decided not to give a penalty, and that is 100% the wrong decision. So similar to Roger East, he's had 1 decision to deal with. He's got it wrong, so I'm going to give him an E. Lastly is Andre Mariner. He was refereeing the Man City West Ham game. Again, similar to Roger East and John Moss, he only had 1 decision to deal with. That was the Sergio Aguero elbow. He's looking right at the incident. He clearly must have thought Aguero was just trying to use his body, get in front of Reid. But I don't see how he's missed Sergio Aguero fling his elbow right into Winston Reid's throat. There is violent conduct. He's already been charged by the FA. We don't know how long it's going to be. It's most likely it's going to be 3 games. And for that one, he's missed 1 crucial decision, but it's a big, big decision there. Because that's a red card that would really go a long way to helping West Ham get back into the game. And it's probably cost them a point at most. And you just don't want referees to be missing stuff like that. He's purely just elbowed Winston Reid in the throat, and you don't want that in today's game. I'm all for a bit of physicality, a bit of tussling, but elbowing someone in the throat is just completely out of order and needs to be red carded. So I'm giving Andre Mariner an F. So it's not really looking good for referees this season. I guess there wasn't the best performances last week. I think it was a B and a C were the highest. This week, the highest we've had is 2 E's. So we've had 2 E's and 2 F's. The referees really need to up their game. But enough talking about referees and their terrible decisions. We're going to go into my team of the week. Okay, so for my team of the week, I'm going for a 3-4-3 formation. And to kick it off, we're going for Hull's Jakupovic in goal. He was absolutely phenomenal against Man United. With him and Curtis Davis, the stellar performers in that game, easily could have been a 3 or 4-0 loss for Hull, but them 2 were incredible, and Jakupovic made some excellent saves. He was so unlucky to be undone by Marcus Rashford's goal in the 92nd, 93rd minute, but yeah, he was very unlucky, but he was an absolutely incredible performer. Okay, so my 3 centre-backs are going to be Wes Morgan of Leicester, Curtis Davis, who I've already mentioned, and Manchester United's Eric Bailly. Wes Morgan was incredible for Leicester last season. He was organised, dominant, powerful, a leader for Leicester, but they haven't been quite as good as they were last season in the first 3 games, and he needed to up his game against Swansea, and he did exactly that. He was the old Wes Morgan that we saw the past season. He was dominant in the air, nobody was getting past him. His position positioning was very good. His partnership with Robert Hoof looks a lot better than it did in the past couple of games, and he even chipped in with a goal. Next up is Hull's Curtis Davis, who's been, in my opinion, the standout performer this season. He has been absolutely incredible for Hull. He made 19 clearances against Man United, which is absolutely incredible, as well as 5 interceptions and completed 100% of his tackles. He's done that 2 weeks in a row, which is an underrated achievement. That is very, very hard to do. Like I mentioned last week, with only 13 fit senior squad members, he is leading by example and has been a true leader on the pitch for Hull. Next up is his opposite number, Eric Bailey, who has been Manchester United's best performer this season. He's probably been their best buy of the summer based on performances. Obviously, Zlatan, Pogba, the big marquee signings, Mkhitaryan even, who hasn't played that much. But Bailey, for the performances he's given, he's definitely been their best buy. So good in possession, he's calm, cool, collected. He only misplaced one pass against Hull on the weekend. And he also brings that dominant side to the game. Manchester United have missed a defender like Nemanja Vidic, but he's been the closest person we've had since he departed. For my midfield four, I'm going right mid, Willian for Chelsea. Absolutely incredible. He was great last season, their best performer. Easily could have finished lower than 10th without him. He's seriously underrated. He works his arse off. He's got great technique, a great shot. He's good from set pieces, and he'd be one of my first picks for the team. Next to him is last year's centre midfield pairing that won Leicester the league, N'Golo Kante and Danny Drinkwater. Kante does what he does every game, but this week he was exceptional again. He's buzzing around the pitch, has a third lung, runs like a horse, gets everywhere, interceptions, tackles, niggly. He makes fouls when he has to, takes that yellow card for the team. He's just an incredible team player, and you want him in your team. Drinkwater, similar to Wes Morgan, had to improve his performances based on the first 2 games. With exit of Kante, he really needs to up performances, start dominating midfield, and he did that against Swansea. He was absolutely everywhere on the pitch, making tackles, making passes. He's a lot more offensive than Kante, and he showed that with his assist for Vardy. He does it every game somehow, clips the ball over the top to Vardy, but somehow defenders can't read it, and the pass is so good that they can't even get a touch on it. So in left midfield, we're going for Raheem Sterling, the £49 million man who looked like a £15 million man last season. His confidence was absolutely shattered under Pellegrini. He didn't look the player that he was at Liverpool. He wasn't going at people. He wasn't taking them on. He wasn't having shots. He just looked completely underwhelming. But he seems to be rejuvenated under Pep Guardiola. He's taking people on. He's showing his ability. His finishing, like many people know, is questionable. He really needs to improve on that if he wants to be a top player. But he's looking so much sharper. He's looking threatening again, which is great news for England and Sam Allardyce. So my top 3 are all going to be from London clubs, 2 from Arsenal, 1 from Chelsea, and we're going to have left wing Eden Hazard. He's been incredible with the first 3 games compared to last season where he was abysmal. He showed the quality that he has the last couple of games, but throughout the whole season he was embarrassing. Whether that was he didn't want to play for Jose Mourinho, transfer speculation for Real Madrid, or niggling injuries he kept having, but the first 3 games he's really showed why he is one of the best players in the league. The worst thing you can do against Hazard is back off him, and that's exactly what Burnley defenders are doing. Even defenders the first 2 games are doing. They're all scared of him again. He's got that fear factor back. He'll run at you, he'll drop his shoulder right, drop his shoulder left, beat you so easily. He makes it look so easy, and his finishing has got a lot better. He's got sublime power in his shot, and if that gets on target, the keeper's probably not going to catch it or hold it. He's going to par it out, and then a player's just going to come in and score. It's that easy. Right wing, we're going for Theo Walcott. This was a massive season for Walcott. Walcott is one of them players that hasn't lived up to the potential. Going to a World Cup at 16, and since then his career has just spiralled. He hasn't lived up to the expectations. He's had a poor couple of seasons for Arsenal. Even Arsenal fans are calling for him to go. But the first 3 games he's been very, very good. He's shown hunger. He's chasing for every ball. I saw a statistic, he's made in the first 3 games, nearly all the amount of tackles that he made in the last season. So he's definitely chasing back, working hard for the team. Even his offensive play is getting better. He's getting in good positions. He's having shots at goal. And from previous seasons, we know he is a proven goal scorer. He can score goals. And with his first 3 performances, I reckon that is what got him in Sam Allardyce's England team. Based on last year's performances, I doubt Allardyce was thinking, yeah, I'll chuck Walker in. But the first 3 games, grabbing goals and assists, Sam Allardyce had to put him in. Okay, so up top, we're going for Arsene Wenger's makeshift striker and Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez clearly doesn't like playing up front. You can tell by his body language, the exasperation he has on his face where he doesn't make the right run. He gets annoyed at himself. He prefers being left, right wing, getting the ball at feet, running at players, beating players, making that pass for a striker to get in on goal, and even cutting inside and having a shot. But you can't fault the effort he's put into playing as a striker. He's adapted so well to it, and he was phenomenal against Watford, scoring one goal and assisting another. He's definitely benefited from creative players coming into teams such as Andy Cazorla and Mesut Ozil, because even if he doesn't make the best of runs, they have the ability to find him easily. And who knows, with Mesut Ozil and Cazorla back in the team, creating chances for him, he may even stay as striker, and Giroud and possible new signing Perez may not even get a sniff. Okay, so that's my team of the week. If you agree with it, drop us a comment. If you don't, again, drop us a comment. Follow me on Twitter, tweet me. Tell me who you'd put in your team of the week and what changes you'd make. So that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, comment, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you next week.